Okay, well, let's go ahead and get started. Welcome everybody to our Medical Assistant Apprenticeship Program information session. We are happy to have all of you here and excited to share information about our upcoming cohort that starts in January. So a couple of session reminders. This presentation will be recorded. Please stay muted during the presentation and keep your camera off. Use the Q&A function to type questions, and either Sam or I will answer them in the chat or at the end of the presentation. And a recording of this presentation will be available and posted next week on our apprenticeship webpage. And we'll probably send this out to our candidate interest list as well to make sure everybody gets a copy. Okay. So my name is Jana Bonifilio, and I am the Administrative Services Manager for the Medical Assistant Programs, and I have been with Providence for just about 5 years, and I'm joined here by my colleague Samantha, and I'll let her introduce herself.
Hi, I am Samantha Gamble, and I am the supervisor of the programs. I have been with Providence a little over 11 years now.
With a lot of medical assistant experience as well.
Been a medical assistant for about 30 years.
Great, thank you. So our agenda for today, I'll talk a little bit about Providence Health and Services, then what an apprenticeship program is. Sam will talk about what a medical assistant does. Then I'll give an apprenticeship program overview. You'll hear from one of our current apprentices and one of our graduates. I'll review the program timeline, also employment and benefits. Then Sam will talk about eligibility criteria, application process, and key dates. Then I'll talk a bit about program commitment, next steps, and then we'll open it up for question and answer. So for the purposes of our talk today, I'll talk mostly about Providence Medical Group, which is the kind of ambulatory arm of Providence. We have over 50 primary care and specialty clinics in the greater Portland metro area. So primary care meaning family medicine and internal medicine clinics, and then specialty clinics, we have many. And that could be our heart clinics, dermatology, women's, pediatrics. If you can think of it, we probably offer it here at Providence. And we also have 4 hospitals in the greater Portland area. And then Providence Medical Group, or PMG as we call it, is part of Providence St. Joseph Health, which is our larger umbrella organization, which has several organizations underneath that. And we operate in 7 Western states. We have 51 hospitals, well over 1,000 clinics, and over 29 million total patient care visits. So Providence St. Joseph Health is a large organization, and Providence Medical Group is underneath that organization. And that is a picture of Reed's Crossing out in Hillsborough, which is one of our newest clinics. So what is an apprenticeship program? So some of you might know what apprenticeship programs are, but for some of you, it could be brand new. So apprenticeship programs provides a different pathway that combines on-the-job training with classroom instruction. And it prepares participants with key skills and experience in various trades like plumbing, electrical work, carpentry, healthcare, and the list keeps expanding to different industries as well. And these programs are essential in tackling the skills gap in the workforce by emphasizing really that hands-on training. And apprentices typically earn a wage while they learn, which makes this a great financial option for those who encounter challenges related to education, funding, time, all of that. So Sam will talk a bit about what a medical assistant does. Sam.
So, medical assistant, for starters, there is an education. There are a few ways you can get that. One is through a certification program. There's also an associate degree program, and like what we do here, an apprenticeship program. Interpersonal skills are very important when becoming a medical assistant. You need to be able to communicate clearly through written and spoken communication, empathy, attention to detail, problem solving, and adaptability. Your work environment is mostly going to be outpatient clinics. It could be a primary care or specialty clinic. You'll work with many different types of providers, nurses, and other staff in the clinic. Your duties will mainly be rooming patients, which involves getting vital signs. You will probably assist in minor procedures and do minor labs in the clinic, like point of care testing. You can administer medications, both injectable and oral, and you will most likely be involved in patient education. For administrative duties, we do a lot of patient records, could be sending or receiving patient records from other healthcare organizations. You'll do a lot of patient correspondence, could be telephone calls, emails, or actual mailed letters. And there's a lot of career development available through Providence. We have our career laddering where you would start out as an MA1 or an associate MA, and that is if you have 6 months or less experience, and you can ladder up to an MA4, or also called a lead MA. There's opportunities for clinic leadership. We have great benefits for tuition reimbursement or education if you want to pursue nursing or other healthcare jobs.
Great. Thank you, Sam. As you can tell, there's quite a wide scope for medical assisting. It really isn't just your clinical duties, although that's a large portion, but there are a lot of other things that go along with medical assisting. So I'll give a overview of our apprenticeship program. So it is a federally registered apprenticeship program. And so far we have graduated 2 cohorts. And you can see there that picture is of our inaugural or first graduating cohort. And we're currently on our 3rd cohort, who started in August 2025. We have 2 cohorts per year. One starts in January and the other in August, and we typically admit 10 apprentices per cohort. It's about 6 months in length of on-the-job learning with a minimum of 1,000 clinical hours required, plus online coursework, which I'll talk a little bit more about. This is a full-time, 40-hour-a-week, paid, benefited caregiver position, and graduates obtain a portable, nationally recognized credential when they graduate. So I'd like to talk a little bit about our curriculum provider, Stepful. So when you think about the apprenticeship, there are kind of 2 components, main components of the program. So one component is the in-person, in-clinic skills training. So that 1,000 hours of in-clinic training that is provided in our Providence clinics. And the other component is the online curriculum or coursework that you do with Stepful, which is our provider. It is a mobile first approach, which means that really you just need a mobile phone to do the online coursework. You can also use a tablet or a computer or a laptop, but really all of it can be done on your smartphone. And 20% of it is synchronous, meaning everybody logs in at the same time for online classes on Mondays and Thursdays from 6 to 9 p.m. And the rest of it is asynchronous, meaning you can do this work at your own pace or speed, but by the due dates of the course. And this equates to about 10 to 15 hours every week of outside coursework done outside of the clinic. And that's for the first about 17 weeks of the program. So once you hit those 17 weeks, you've completed the online curriculum. And so you no longer have those 10 to 15 hours a week of additional work to do. And the online curriculum covers a variety of topics, anything from fundamentals of medical assisting, anatomy, medication administration, EKGs, soft skills, and they also do a really wonderful job of prepping our apprentices for the certification exam. Our two cohorts that have graduated so far have a 100% pass rate on their first time attempting the exam. So they do really a great job preparing everybody for that exam. Online coursework also includes virtual simulations and group projects. And this is cohort based with dedicated coaching and support. So, this apprenticeship program isn't just offered in Oregon through Providence. This is also offered in different states: Washington, Alaska, California, perhaps not all at the same time, but we do have other states that participate that are part of Providence. So, when you are in this cohort with Stepful, you'll be in there with people from perhaps Washington or Alaska. So you'll all be there in a cohort together. And each of our apprentices are assigned a dedicated coach through Stepful that helps you be successful through the course of the program. And if you get behind for whatever reason, can help create a plan for you to catch up. So they're really an important they're important for your success in the program. So I like to explain this program also in a different way. It's a 3-2-1 model, meaning your first 3 months are in a home primary care clinic. So you'll be either in a family medicine or internal medicine clinic. And there you'll learn the fundamentals of being a medical assistant. And then after that, you'll spend 2 months rotating through specialty clinics. So in the past, we've had apprentices do 4 rotations, 2 weeks each in different specialties. And in the past, we've used our heart clinics, women's clinics, pediatrics, surgery, dermatology. And that kind of changes with each cohort as well. And then after you get that exposure to specialty care, then you go back to your home primary care clinic for 1 to 2 months to finish up your remaining 1,000 hours. And in clinic training, or for in clinic training, you are paired with a dedicated, specially trained preceptor, and actually not just one, but two in every clinic that you're in. And the training pace can really vary on each apprentice. So some apprentices come in with some level of healthcare experience, whether that be administrative or clinical, maybe veterinary experience or no experience at all. And so the training pace really depends on the apprentice, and that pace is set between the apprentice and then the preceptor as well. And we have lots of additional training and support available for our apprentices. So when they start, there are a lot of online training modules that they'll need to complete, and this really is to learn the Providence way. We also have 4 all-day clinical skills days at our Wilsonville Training Center, and those are led by our trainers and are set or dispersed kind of through the 6 months of the program. And then we have monthly rounding with Sam, the program supervisor. She goes and visits with each apprentice and the preceptors and clinic leadership every month. I also join sometimes. Sometimes senior leadership will come out as well. We also have monthly online check-ins with the cohort just to see how everybody's doing, any sort of program announcements, what we might be able to help with. And we also have a cohort chat, kind of an instant messenger chat, and that is pretty active every day. And then we have a mid-program retreat, which actually for the current cohort is coming up in just a couple of weeks. It's a great time for us to reconnect all in person together as a group. We're planning a career panel or career development panel, people who have worked their way up from an MA to beyond at Providence. We have team building activities, and we'll go over some programmatic information as well. So again, a great way for everybody to kind of come back at the midpoint of the program. So now we're going to hear from a current apprentice and a graduate, and I will let Sam introduce them.
So this is Jasmine. She was a new hire starting the program. She started in August of this year. She's set to graduate in March of 2026, and currently she is at our Bethany Family Medicine Practice Clinic doing her training.
Hi, everybody. Are you guys able to hear me? We're good. Okay, my name is Jasmine. Like Sam said, I'm gonna be a part of the third cohort that is going on in this program. So I'm graduating in March. We're currently in November, and like Jana said, we're gonna have a mini retreat soon, and we're almost gonna be sent to our specialty clinic. So we're all still in our family practice clinics at the moment. Um, so I first got started with this program. I was a phlebotomist prior to this with some medical experience, but my cohort does include people that have never been in healthcare and this is their first healthcare job. So we've all, even though some of us came with a medical background, we're still all learning how to navigate this program. One of the pros about this program is that you're never going to be by yourself. Even though you're going to be sent to your family medical clinics and you're going to be training with your preceptors and a whole different team, you'll always be connected to your cohort and you'll always see them on your weekly Zoom meetings with Stepful. And we have become quite close. We make a group chat so we update each other on what we're learning. Because another pro about the program is that we all go at our own pace. And so we learn some things quicker than others, and then some people learn it later on. I definitely one thing that I did struggle with was vaccines. And so that was something that I got signed off a little later than most people. But like I said, it's at our own pace. Wherever you're comfortable, you can get stuff done at your own pace. You'll never be thrown into things where you're not 100% confident in it. You'll have some health streams that you need to get signed off on. You have to supervise those procedures with your preceptor prior to doing them by yourself independently. So you'll never be pushed on to do something that you're not comfortable. Um, One thing that I did struggle with was the balance of school, work, and personal life. It's a 9 month program, and so you really have to be sure that you have supportive people around you throughout the whole thing. Sorry, I muted myself. Sorry. And then another thing is nerves were a big issue for me, especially trying new things. It is daunting, especially if you have no healthcare experience, or even myself who had some healthcare experience with patient forward prior to it. It was still nerve wracking. But like I said, slowly but surely you'll get the hang of things. Your preceptors are there. They're specifically trained to help us learn these new tasks and be um, safe with them. And then you will get paid for this, which is really nice, and you get benefits on top of it. You can't go overtime, unfortunately, so you just really have to be careful about what time you go in and out. For most clinics, I know some people in my cohort, they do 4 10s, but some people do 5 8s. It just depends on what your clinic is comfortable with or like your preceptor's schedule. But like I said, if you're traveling to a far clinic and need to get home earlier for school, that's something like that they can work on with you. And let's see. And yeah, that's my experience with the program so far. I'm really excited to go to specialties. So if you have any questions, just let me know.
Thank you, Jasmine. Next, we have Madison. Is she on?
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Oh, I can hear you. Thank you.
Okay.
She was an existing caregiver with Providence. She started our second cohort, so she's already graduated. She started in January 2025. She graduated in August of 2025. She did her training at our Bridgeport Family Medicine Clinic, and she was hired back at the Happy Valley Primary Care Clinic where she started her career with Providence, or where she was before she started the program anyway.
All right. Can everyone hear me?
I can.
Okay. Perfect. Sorry, I don't have my camera. So you'll just be hearing my voice. So my name's Madison, and I was part of the second cohort. I've worked for Providence for 3 years now, and I started off in staffing as a PSS and found my home clinic later on at Happy Valley Family Medicine. I remember one day going into my supervisor's office and telling them that I was very interested in becoming an MA. She had mentioned this MA apprentice and really encouraged me and pushed me to apply. So I did, and I was accepted into the program. My experience with the apprentice was such an amazing and great opportunity. I highly recommend if you are wanting to become an MA. I am the type of person who learns more hands-on, and this experience allowed me to do MA skills hands-on. I remember being really nervous for blood draws going into the program, but after failing and then succeeding and lots of practice, I can confidently say I love doing blood draws now, which currently at my clinic, whenever we have someone come in for a blood draw, they always ask me to do it, which is awesome. I've always had a passion for women's health, which doing the rotation clinics allowed me to shadow at a women's clinic. I got to do things like watch pap smears, colposcopies, LEEP procedures, help with OB patients, and shadow an ultrasound technician to see babies, which was really exciting. After graduating, I decided to go back to Happy Valley Family Medicine as an MA2, and things couldn't have gone any better. This program allowed me to have more confidence, and it's been so rewarding helping patients. I highly recommend this to anyone who has a passion for helping others and wants to become an MA one day.
Thank you, Maddie.
Yeah, thank you both. Hopefully that was helpful hearing from a current apprentice and one of our graduates. And they will hopefully stay on the line until the end in case anybody has any questions that they'd like to ask at that time. So let me go over the program timeline. So you're wondering, what am I going to do over the 6 months of the program and what does that look like? So January is when this cohort will start, January 26th to be specific. And that the program starts with orientation. It is 2 weeks long. And at that time, you'll also begin the STEPFL curriculum. So that 17 weeks that I talked about, which has about 10 to 15 hours a week of outside work for you to complete. Apprentice Skills Day 1 and 2 happen during those first 2 weeks of orientation. You'll continue along in the clinics and with our STEPFL curriculum in February and March. And in March, you'll have Skills Day number 3. In April, you'll continue with that curriculum and in our clinics, and you'll have a mid-program retreat. And then in May is when the specialty rotations start. And that also coincides typically with the end of the STEPFL curriculum around 17 weeks. And you'll also take your NHA exam sometime likely in May, June as well. In June, you'll continue on with your specialty rotations. You'll have another Apprentice Skills Day that happens in Wilsonville. July, specialty rotations will end and you'll return back to your primary care clinics, so your internal medicine or family medicine clinics, and you'll complete your 1,000 hours right around that time. And in August, we will host a graduation ceremony with friends and family and caregivers at Providence, people that have helped you along the way to celebrate. And then you begin your MA job. So that is a quick overview of the 6 months, and it does go by fast. Employment and benefits. So this is the position is a full-time it's a full-time Providence. You're a full-time Providence caregiver during the program, and that means 40 hours per week paid. And then in addition to that, those 10 to 15 hours of unpaid STEPFL coursework that is done outside of clinic time. It starts at $20 per hour, then increases to $21 per hour, right around the midpoint of the program, which is about 500 hours. And then at the end of the program, you're hired into a medical assistant level 2 position. So because you have 6 months of experience as an apprentice, you get to start at just a bit above the kind of the regular entry level MA1 position. And that comes with a pretty sizable pay bump as well. And because you're a Providence caregiver, all of your benefits start day one, and we have a really wide suite of benefits available for our caregivers. So that includes medical, dental, and vision. Your paid time off will start accruing starting day one. Retirement contributions will start. Tuition benefit, which I'll talk a little bit more about. And there are lots of other benefits too that would take too long to go into, but we have a big suite of benefits that are available to Providence caregivers. And the tuition benefit in particular is the one that I really like and is really utilized by a lot of people at Providence. So every eligible Providence caregiver is eligible for up to $5,250 every year to spend on tuition and fees. It is use it or lose it, so you can't bank it for future years. So you do have to use it up to $5,250 every year, and that can be spent towards an associate's degree, bachelor's degree, there are master's degrees, certifications. There are lots of programs that you can spend it on, and that is administered through our partner guild, and they work specifically with different colleges and programs around the country, and you can spend it also at community colleges or local colleges as well. Really encourage everybody to look into that. So Sam will go over our eligibility criteria for the program. Oh, you're muted.
Thank you. Sorry, the wind's been blowing pretty hard, so I'm trying to mute myself. So you do have to be proficient in the English language, and then 18 years or older at the time you apply. And a high school diploma or GED is required. You cannot be currently enrolled or have completed an MA program. You also cannot have passed or have an MA certification exam. It is required to get a CPR, basic life support, through the American Heart Association prior to the start of the program, and we would have resources for you to do that if offered a position. Successful passing of all of the Providence pre-boarding is also required, which oftentimes includes a background check, drug screen, health screening. And then for the step full portion of it, a smartphone, computer, laptop, or tablet is required. And then the application process. So the application is going to be posted starting November 14th. It will close at the end of the day on November 11th. To complete the application process, you have to do the application first. You will get some additional questions, screening questions, either by text or email. So make sure you're keeping an eye on your junk email as well for those to come through. And then as long as you pass those screening questions, you will be guided to do a couple of questions, recorded answers. We will not get your application if you do not do the recorded answers to the questions. And then everything needs to be submitted by the end of the day on November 11th. We will start offering interviews in early December. An email with instructions will go out for you to self-schedule. The interviews will last about 45 minutes, give or take. They are professional interviews. This is a very competitive program. The interviews will be anywhere from December 8th to December 17th. And then we're planning on extending offers in late December. We will have a wait list we will work off of in case our original offers are not done for whatever reason. And then all pre-boarding should be completed no later than January 23rd for the first day of apprenticeship to start on January 26th.
Great. Thank you. And just clarifying, the application period is open from November 14th to November 30th. So not November 11th, but November
Oh, sorry.
30th. No, no
Didn't
worries.
even realize I said it wrong.
So November 30th. Okay, great. So I want to close by talking a bit about the commitment that you'll need to make to the program. So as you heard from our current apprentice and our graduate, it is a really intensive program, and it can be tough to juggle life and school and working. So we just like to be really upfront about the commitment needed for this program and how intense it is. So we also, we want people that are passionate about healthcare. We don't require any experience in healthcare, but we're really looking for people that want to get into healthcare. And apprentices do need to be able to prioritize and really commit to this kind of a program. So it really should be your main focus or one of your main focuses of your life over the 6 months of the program. So we ask that you take minimal time off. Of course, there are holidays and people get sick and you need a day off for one reason or another, but this isn't really the time to take extended vacations or time off because we do expect our apprentices to complete the program on time. As I said before, this is a full-time work schedule, so it is 40 hours per week, Monday through Friday. The schedule is set for 8 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. at the beginning of the schedule, but it's possible, depending on the clinic and your schedule, it's possible for there to be a different schedule, maybe working for 10-hour shifts, or maybe your start time or your end time shifts a little bit. It just depends on what you're looking for and what your clinic is able to participate. But we do set it as 8 to 4:30 standard to start the program. And then as I talked about, there's those 10 to 15 hours a week for stepful coursework that is unpaid and outside of clinic. It's required that you attend orientation. So those first 2 weeks of the program, you need to be there every day. And then you do need to attend all of the skills days. So those 4 clinical skills days that happen in Wilsonville. Apprentices do need to be flexible. So we have a limited number of clinics that are trained to host apprentices. And so because of that, a clinic that you'll be assigned to might not be super close to where you live. It could be across town. So we don't know who we're going to accept until we accept people into the program and how that's going to match up with the clinics that we have available. So just be prepared that for the 6 months of a program, you could have a short commute or you could have a longer commute. It just depends on where the clinics are located and then where the apprentices are coming from. And then in the middle of the program for those specialty rotations I talked about, those 2 months or 8 weeks, your commutes will change up again. And so it really depends on where those electives or where those specialty clinics are located. So again, your commutes could change at that time as well. And the program does require that apprentices sign a 2-year post-graduation employment contract. So what that means is that when you graduate from our program, you are expected to work for Providence for a Providence Medical Group clinic in the greater Portland area for the equivalent of 2 years after you graduate. So if you're not sure where you're going to be after graduation or what your plans are going to be, if you're going to stay here locally, this might not be the best fit for you because we really do need our graduates to stay here for 2 years and to work for Providence. And like all of our caregivers or employees, we also expect a really high level of professionalism from our apprentices as well. So that means that we expect apprentices to be here on time, when shifts start. And this is an in-person position. This is not a virtual job. So you have to be here in person. We have patients coming in, we have providers that are on a schedule, and you're part of the team. So you're expected to be there, be a contributing member, be a good team player, have great communication skills. So those are all of the things that we require in terms of professionalism. And next steps, if you haven't already, please scan the QR code there. That will add you to our interest list just to make sure that you get email updates about the application opening, any changes in dates, or any sort of important program updates. I would recommend starting to update or create your resume, cover letter, and then start collecting employment information and dates because you'll need all of that as part of the online application process. I would also recommend practicing interviewing. So as Sam said, this is a integral part of the application process is the interview. So we expect you to be prepared and ready to go and excited to learn more about the program. And we're excited to learn more about you as well. Please apply between November 14th and November 30th. We won't accept applications after that date. So once it closes, it closes. And if there are any changes to those application dates, we will let everybody know. And if you have any questions about the program, please feel free to reach out to Sam or I there at that email address, and we will try to get back to you as soon as we can.